Welcome to episode 4 of the Blue and Neutral podcast. I pray everyone is well. It's another cold evening in New Jersey, and despite what's currently going on in the world, I am glad you chose to join me here. Rangers 2, Dortmund 2. Rangers qualify for the next round, 6-4 on aggregate after beating Dortmund in Germany a week or so ago in the first leg. Wow, what a game. I think it's games like this that make me glad I'm a football fan. The ebb, the flow, the highs, the lows, the incredible high stakes involved, the talent on display. I think we can all channel our inner Patrice Evra and say, I love this game. First of all, well done Rangers. I think the easy thing to do is focus on Dortmund because they have the better and more popular players, but Rangers showed up tonight. Their captain James Tavernier opened the scoring from the penalty spot in the 21st minute, smashing the kick down the middle. Dutch international Marlen equalized towards the end of the second half from Jude Bellingham flick. Dortmund took a deserved lead through Bellingham again, who scored just before halftime. The ball fell kindly to his feet after poor clearance from the defender, and he scored at the near post. Much better response from Rangers in the second half. They were better in possession, more aggressive. In the 56th minute, Rangers left back Bassi just went beast mode on the left wing. He crossed the ball and Matt Hummels, man, with some comical defending. He let the pass through. It fell to Tavernier, who smashed it into the net, his second goal of the game. Rangers thought they had given themselves a 3-goal cushion on aggregate again when Morelos dispossessed Emre Can and the Colombian attacked. He raced towards goal and laid it off to Kent. The ref went to VAR for a possible foul on Can, and the goal, unfortunately for Rangers and their fans, was overturned. So the goal was not allowed. The commentators were obviously Scottish, so it was funny listening to them complain about how unfair the call was. And to be honest, they were right. It was really poor from Can. You know, he was the last defender, and yet he looked like he was looking for a foul instead of just clearing his lines. Morelos stepped across Can, and it was Can actually who kicked Morelos in the back of his leg, but somehow the ref interpreted it as in Dortmund's favor and said it was a foul on Can. You know, strange decision, but that was the ref's choice. Dortmund tried, but defensively, Rangers was solid. Nigerian defender Balogun was a rock at the back. Aribo, another Nigerian player, was actually played really well too. Shout out to my Nigerians. It's the first time I've watched Rangers play this year, and they showed beating Dortmund in the first leg was no fluke. Players like Kent and Tavernier really stood out. Well done Rangers, fully deserved. But there's one player I have to talk about, and that is Jude Bellingham. He's 18 years old, 18, and playing like an accomplished veteran. He may have been on the losing side, but my goodness, that young man can play. The cynics might say it's just Rangers, but at 18, it's very rare to find someone that young outperforming players much older and more experienced than him. There was a particular passage of play in the second half where Dortmund were in a very promising position on the counter-attack, and a Dortmund player played the ball to Bellingham, and Bellingham went off on his teammate. It was a bad pass, to be fair, and Bellingham just couldn't have it. I'm not a lip reader, I don't read lips, but there was some choice words said. Some people might watch it and say that it was disrespectful, but Frank, you tell me. You and I have played and watched the game long enough to know when to hold our teammates accountable. Winning means everything. Cristiano Ronaldo does it, and we say he's whining. But there's a competitive spirit in all of us that comes out in a way that people who haven't played football might not quite understand. And finally, Dortmund are one of the biggest enigmas in football, honestly. They either score a ton of goals or concede lots of goals. They have the ability to play exciting, attacking football, but on the other hand, make silly mistakes in defense. There's no in between with this team. It's either one or the other. And finally, Dortmund's over-reliance on Haaland at this point is just sad. Well done, Rangers. If Rangers somehow win the Europa League, I might actually listen to some bagpipes playing to commemorate their win. Well done, Rangers. And the atmosphere at Ibrox was outstanding. I really enjoyed this game. I'm glad I watched it. All right.
A cold morning too here in Nairobi. It's 16 degrees Celsius. You might laugh at that, but it's managed to give me a cold, so you can hear it in the sound of my voice. But Will Trajan, yeah, I didn't make it to watch the game last night, but I managed to catch the highlights this morning. And congratulations are in order to Rangers for the big scalp. They're knocking out a big team such as Borussia Dortmund, one of my favorites in terms of winning the whole tournament in the end, alongside Barcelona and Sevilla, two failures from the Champions League this season. I have to say, as much as Rangers were really good, it has to be said that Dortmund were poor. Over both legs, I think. Just failing to knock out Rangers, I think. For a team of their quality, Dortmund are a much better team on paper than Rangers. I know that the game is not played on paper, but whenever an upset like this happens, sometimes it could be down to the underdogs really showing up and stepping up the game, and at other times it could be the favorites just failing to turn up. And I think the latter is true in this case. As much as Rangers were good, they played well, Dortmund didn't play to their level from what I've seen, from what they're capable of. And that shouldn't be much of a surprise given the pasting that was handed out to them by Leverkusen a few weeks ago. And as Stevie pointed out, their over-reliance on Erling Haaland, I don't think you would blame them for that, because Haaland is just a phenomenon. Yeah, his goal scoring record is insane. On Jude Bellingham, what can you say? What can you say about that young man? 18 years of age, balling. He's a baller. He's a real baller, balling across Europe's greatest and grandest stages. I think his standout performance was last season against Manchester City in both legs, and yeah, he managed to get a goal, as he did against Rangers 2 this season, although they got knocked out on both occasions. I don't think it's too early to say he needs to move to a bigger club. Yeah, a bigger club than Dortmund, the big guns of Europe, that is. He's so good. He's so mature in the middle of the park, and I think he should be playing for a bigger team than Dortmund. The only question that would come into play, I think, would be his price tag. And for me, I think even at 18, he could be worth £100 million in today's market, especially given that Declan Rice is also rated at higher than that by West Ham. Um, both of them are really, really good players, midfielders. And I think Bellingham is just as good as Declan, and he should go for the same price, or even more, because considering that he's almost 6 years younger than Declan Rice. And you talked about him like biting the heads of his teammates. At 18, that would seem really disrespectful to his other teammates, but he is mature beyond his years, and for whatever mistake the teammates make, I think that's a good quality of a leader that he's showing, and because he's mature at 18, that he can spot mistakes and harangue his much older teammates. It's a bit, I'd say, I think it goes both ways. It's a bit disrespectful considering his age, but on the flip side, you have to look at his stature in that Dortmund team. He is a senior player at Dortmund. He's one of the first names on the team sheets. So, age notwithstanding, I think Bellingham was right. He's a senior player. He has the right to do that. I think Rangers don't have a chance to win the Europa League. They got knocked out in the last 16, I think, last year, in one it was a very hot-tempered game. Some racism issues from I think Slavia Prague players, who was fined some peanuts, obviously, to him. But in the grand scheme of things, I think Barcelona are now the favorites. I think they're head and shoulders above everyone else who is remaining in the Europa League, and I think they will win it.